Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of My Faith with Homer and Pip. Homer?
It always starts with Mother Teresa, and I had enough people say, come on, not my secret as I pray. Something new. Mother Teresa had to say something else. So she did. We have to pray on behalf of those who do not pray. We should be professionals in prayer. Tommy?
Beautiful. Just so admired Mother Teresa on so many levels, particularly because she walked in faith during that dark period in her life when she heard nothing from the Lord. And we're amazed by the guests we have who do just that, and their faith allows them to overcome so much. And I think we can say, as we welcome in our special guest, I'm blessed to call her a friend, a sister in the Lord, Tracey Hassinger, that she has done just that through thick and thin. Tracey, thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
You betcha. You wanted some guidance? It all starts with Homer.
Okay.
There is no guidance. It's your story. I'm curious as to how you choose to start. My faith, Tracey, take it away.
Okay. Okay. It all started when my parents divorced and I was 11 and to Catholicism. And I was very troubled. I had dealt with depression and eating issues and abuse. I had so many questions in the church for them. You know, I was new to this. I wanted to know what this was about, and their response was, don't ask any questions, just accept it. So ultimately I walked away when I was 18 years old, and for the next 25 years I struggled with mental illness. uh, Unfortunately, was not receiving the proper care at that time. I was institutionalized. I went through drug and alcohol addiction, prostitution, and was still for some unknown reason not giving up on the Lord. He didn't give up on me. I had several suicide attempts, um, just trying to deal with friends who died, and it just, in a matter of time, I started to give up. And it was at one point where I was having a nervous breakdown because of the medications, because of the lack of friendships. I had lost a lot of people in my life. I separated myself from my family. I did that was the way it was going to be. And so what happened is one day in my apartment, actually, I decided I was going to kill myself. And I had packed up all my belongings and labeled everything so that I knew when my family got there that they would, have everything in order and know where things were. And at that time, there was a terrible storm, a horrible thunderstorm, and it was raining torrentially. And so what had happened was I got down on my hands and knees and basically, for the first time since I was a little girl, prayed to the Lord to help me. And at that moment in time, the whole sky just opened up. The rain had stopped. And that was when I found Jesus Christ, basically. And my life has been nothing shy of amazing since then. Mind you, I didn't go to church right away. I didn't have a community right away. I sort of went to non-denominational, to Lutheran, to Catholic, nothing quite fit. I was still in an abusive relationship at the time.
Now, wait a minute. I have to interrupt.
Yes.
You said I prayed. Why? Had you prayed before? It doesn't make any sense. Again, had you done this before, or what prompted you at that moment? Because clearly you remember it.
I remember it distinctly. I honestly think that I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to die. I needed his help because I was so close. There was no doubt about it, how close I was to taking my life. That was the first time I truly believed that I would have died. if I had not gotten down on my hands and knees, like I did even this morning, and pray. And the power of prayer is amazing, just amazing. That's why I got down on my knees.
Can you tell us what you prayed or how you prayed? Do you remember that?
I said, Lord, please help me. Please save me. I can't do this on my own. It was very short. It was very quick. But in that moment, it was as if he was there and saying, it's okay. Let's start our journey together. And that's what I did.
And then the thunderstorm, and then you're thinking, this is a sign. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking. You have to tell
No,
us.
I tell this story, and I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. And when that sky opened up and the sun came out, and I just walked around delighted. I felt light as air. It a burden had been taken off of me, and never ever since then have I ever wanted to take my life. And that was about 4 years ago.
So you mentioned you had thought of it previous times. Previous times, did you ever get on your hands and knees? Had you ever had any of these feelings?
I was not praying or anything to do with my spirituality for 30 years. 30
So
years.
this,
Yeah.
so this time you decide to get on your hands and knees.
Yes. Got on my hands and knees and begged, pleaded, and asked for his mercy, because I knew that I had more to do on the planet, on Earth, and even though I was all alone and being abused and still struggling, I turned to him, because really he never walked away from me. Never. I wouldn't be here if the Lord wanted me yet.
Okay, so nice story, but you have to live your life the next day and the day after that, and it's certainly one thing to experience that moment. What happened the next day? What happened the day after that? Clearly, things changed as a result of your feeling.
Yes, I had actually, my view of everything changed. I decided to pick up and leave where I was living, leave that relationship I was in. I moved to hell. I was being evicted. So I left everything there, and I moved with a couple of a few things, and my cat. We lived in a motel, and then a week later, they were kicking me out. So I found Waukesha. People say, how did you get to Waukesha? The Lord took me here. There's just no other explanation. So I lived in a motel in Waukesha for about 2 months, and I ran out of money, and I was going to be homeless. Unfortunately, I did reach out to my family at that time because I was so desperate to not be on the street, and they helped me get through. And immediately, when they ran out of money, I found an apartment. I prayed.
So I'm guessing they saw a difference. Am I right?
Yes.
They saw you were different.
Yep. Yeah. Because I prayed that whole time in that motel room. There were moments I didn't think I was going to make it. I had 2 cents in my pocket. I was, begging for food. I mean, I came with everything I had was in that room, basically. I mean, I hardly had any clothing. And so I reached out to the organizations in Waukesha, and they started helping me. And I knew I was in the right place. I knew. And that's because I prayed. That's all I did. That's pretty much what I do all day. We have great conversations together. So ultimately, I decided to go to church. And my boyfriend took me to St. Mary's Parish. And it's across town, but that's where he goes. And at first, I didn't want anything to do with it. It's that institutionalized religion. And I kind of stepped back and I talked to the Lord, and I'm like, what should I do? And he said, go. And it was the best thing I could ever have done with my life. I don't know what I do without my family there. I am so involved. And the Lord has just blessed me over and over and over again with my health to some degree, my mental health, definitely. Absolutely. I see a different person and I look at life through grateful eyes and really kind to people and non-judgmental. I never was like that. And it's a beautiful world to be walking through when you see it like that. It's wonderful.
All right, this is rude because your story is amazing, and you're part of that group where I think you should be dead.
Yep.
But you have lived mental health. It's a huge topic now. Everybody wants to figure out what to do and how to help. You're it. You've lived it. What do you want to tell the world to think or be aware of at the top of the list based on what you have lived and experienced?
As far as mental health, I think
Yes.
that faith is the key. Faith, and they don't let you talk about that. A program, they don't let you talk about it. There's AA, that's fine, but when you're going in for help, even in therapy or psychiatry, I'm fortunate right now that my team knows how important my faith is, and I can talk about it anytime. But most of the time, people don't have anything to lean on, to believe in, and they just go deeper and deeper and deeper like I did. Now, how I got out of it, that was the Lord, that was the Lord, but people need faith, and they need that faith integrated into the recovery program. There's no doubt about it. I tried to start a program at my church, actually, a recovery group for people with mental illness. Unfortunately, that fell through based on just laws and responsibilities of the church. And so I just feel that if I didn't have faith, I believe that the Lord will cure me. There's no getting around it. And I believe that with
But
all
you
my
would tell everyone else what? Go to a church. A religious part of your life is the best way. You can't force people to do anything, but it sounds like
no.
that's what you would say. And
I would love to be able to share my story as well as share the importance of faith. It doesn't have to be at church. It doesn't have to be
okay.
in an institution. It's just in your heart. There's something bigger than you that can help you. And you don't have to do this on your own. And the more you talk about it, the more it gets exciting. I'm still a newbie because I just joined the church a year ago. So I call myself a newbie Catholic. And I'm very enthusiastic about it. The cradle Catholics think it's great to have me because I ask a lot of questions and they don't mind now. It's great. But I take
I'm gonna ask Tommy, but I want to ask this. I heard Tim Tebow, and he said the key is you have to maintain hope. Like he said,
yes.
the thing people struggle with is, they say you need love or you need food. No, you need to have hope. And once you've lost hope, it's over. And you seem to be saying exactly that.
Yes. Yep. You have to believe. I still struggle. I mean, I'm in the midst of a battle right now, and I'm dealing with some addiction. I'm dealing with some mental health and physical health issues, and I'm not giving up. Every day he wakes me up. Every day I thank him. And just go out there, do good, be kind to people, but have that hope that this struggle you're in is for a reason. Because there are days like this morning on my hands and knees and said, I don't know what you want of me. But the answer was just hang in there and keep praying and keep coming to me. That's the key. Go to the Lord. When you are at the bottom, that's when he wants you. And that's why I went to him. With that hope.
Tommy, it's all yours now.
I know that Tracey's remarkable but now even more so with the Lord. Tracey Hassinger is our guest on My Faith with Homer and Pip. With the Homer, I'm Tommy Pippins. Our marvelous producer is Brent Young. Tracey, oftentimes you hear in 12-step programs, don't worry about perfectionism, be vulnerable. It's
Mhm.
okay to be imperfect. Is that part of your journey, your faith journey, and your recovery journey?
My faith journey and recovery journey is I deal with perfectionism. There's no getting around it. And that's one of my struggles is that I'm not perfect. I'm human, but I expect a lot from myself. And so with the help of the Lord as well as others in my life, they have to remind me that we're not perfect, and every step you take towards bettering yourself is a step toward the Lord, is a positive thing. He wants you to do well. That's what he wants. He wants me to share what I've gone through and to have that hope and to also realize that it's okay if you can't do it all correctly and you can't do it all right now because life is a learning experience, and I still have battles with him. We still have arguments. We still joke
Homer can
around.
relate.
I do. We still argue, and I go, why? Because he's got to smack me upside the head because I'm so stubborn. He'll be like, are you going to listen? And then bam. And then I go, oh, my goodness. Yes. He goes, you're not perfect. You are not perfect. And that is a struggle. It is because of the past I've had. I would like to be perfect, because I struggled so much. But being kind and loving and nurturing to people is probably better for me.
How are you doing in that regard, Tracey, with taking care of yourself?
I as far as that goes, well as I should. Working more toward being a good cat rather than realizing that I'm worth. I struggle with worthiness. I
Mm,
really do.
mm.
Because I'm still dealing with a lot of these addictions of my past are still here. I feel I'm not worthy enough to take care of myself. Knowing that this is a temple, knowing that the Lord wants more from me, um, every day I try to do something for myself. I'm thinking about going back to school actually.
Mm.
So, but as far as the health area, when you're abused for so long, which I was, it's hard to look at yourself with any respect. So I pray to the Lord for that one. I do. It doesn't disappear, that doesn't quite go away. And so I pray to him. I, as far as what Homer said, why would you pray? Because I need something. I need him to keep reminding me that just those baby steps every day that builds that confidence and worthiness of his love and of me being here. So,
Tracey, is it fair to say that your surrender to and trust in God, dating back to that time on your knees when you were going to take your life,
mm,
you're growing in those areas day by day,
yes,
moment by moment?
yes, yep, I can honestly say that this morning, it's so funny how it happened this morning, but I was on my hands and knees and I said, Jesus, I trust in you probably half a dozen times. Because he's the one who's going to save me. I have to do the work, mind you. Like I said, I'm struggling. I have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. It's not like he's going to give me that light bulb, which we all want so badly, which is why we get into an argument all the time. Um, but I definitely put more in him. And if there's something that goes wrong in my life, I know he'll take care of me.
Mm,
He always does. It's just not the way I want, not in the time frame I want, but I'm not driving the bus. He's
mm,
driving the bus. And
mm.
I don't want that responsibility anymore. Mm-mm. When I
He does.
try to drive the bus, it's an accident.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great example for all of us. His will be done, even in the midst of the struggle of letting go and giving everything to him. Uh, I, of course, have had the privilege of knowing you through St. Vincent de Paul and the
Mm.
St. Dismas Jail Ministry in Waukesha. And every time you walk into the room, it's like the Holy Spirit is there. There's a light on no matter what you're struggling with. And you've been, again, very honest and vulnerable to share. But you're saying, as Homer mentioned, that hope, you have hope. Do you feel this is a calling for you? Because you can relate to a lot of what people do
Yes.
who have been in jail, be it mental illness, be it addiction, and then trying to transition to the community. And you seem to be able to relate, which, in my humble opinion, makes you just a superstar in that area.
Well, I speak to the Lord quite often about the suffering. I said, when's it going to stop? And ultimately, we suffer through life in just different ways. And my struggle has lasted quite a number of years. And I do believe that I'm going through this so that I can share my story and give hope to other people who are struggling and don't know the Lord, who aren't receiving the right medication, who don't have that support. And I have a degree in teaching. And a priest told me once years ago when I was young and wanted to be a teacher, he said, now you remember, you can teach anything. It doesn't have to be in school. You can teach about anything. And I do believe that that's what I want to do. I plan to write a book and share with other people, even though I'm still in the struggle. If I wait till I'm cured, that will never happen. And so I feel that it's important to be in the struggle and help people too. I can relate to that. I know what that feels like. When those people come into the jail ministry, you can tell there's mental health problems, and I want to help them so badly. And I can do a little, but I'd like to do more. Hmm.
You do a
Definitely.
lot of little. You do a lot of little. Is there anything you want people to know? Someone is listening to, will be listening to you.
Mhm.
Share from your heart. Be open to know about that hope that you have. What somebody's out there is ready, perhaps, to take his or her life, and they're
Yeah.
at wit's end. What do you want that person to know, Tracey?
Oh, life can be good. Life can be so good. It can seem like you have nothing, really. I've been there, like I said, and all you got to do is just hang on for a second, and then one more second, and then another second, and another, and just keep holding on, that it will get better. But also know that faith, that hope, that love, it's in there. We hold everything inside of us. The Holy Spirit's there. It's just that we can't seem to tap into it very well. So it's hard to say what I would tell someone except don't give up. Please don't give up.
Mm, thank you for
You're
that.
worth it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, worth it. Homer?
All right, I got a ton of them. First of all, Tracey, when in your life have you felt closest to God?
When have I felt closest to God?
Yeah,
Probably
moment
in
or
no, the closest. Probably right now. I talk to him all the time. I mean, he's my friend. He's my buddy. I don't look to him as a great being or anything like that. If I didn't have him in my life, I would be driving myself crazy talking to me. I talk to the Lord all the time. So really, right now, actually, he's getting me through a
all right.
lot.
When
He's right
have you felt the when have you felt the furthest from God?
that time before I killed myself. I was going to kill myself. I really did. I had no, I didn't see any way out, any way out. And I had lost a friend to suicide when I was 25. And I think at that moment, he was probably there too with me at the same time. And so I just felt like the devil had me, basically. That's how I felt, in the grips of Satan. And
You
so,
may have just given it, because this is hard to ask and maybe not fair. Like, the worst moment, maybe you alluded to it, just the worst of the worst, because it's very hard, I think, for people to understand how bad it is,
mhm.
because they've probably never been there. How can you best describe, so for people to understand just how horrible and painful that moment or those moments are?
It feels like someone is socking you in the gut. You are wailing so hard. I mean, I'll be brutally honest, if I may, but you cry and you're drooling, and the tears and just the aching of in your heart and in your stomach, because that's where your soul is. Your soul's in there, and it's just burning and lonely. You feel like you are the only person who is struggling, the only person who knows this pain, the only person who possibly can feel this way. And therein, you are isolated, and you want to die, because it hurts so bad that you can't imagine going on with that amount of pain.
And that's why or how people kill themselves, to eliminate just what you explained.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. On a more positive, you want to,
Okay.
you say you want to share. Right, Tracey, you only got 60 seconds. This person, there's something there you can help, but they're busy. You've got 60 seconds. I want those 60 seconds right now. You know how you feel, but you only got a short period of time. What's at the top of your list that you feel you have to say to this person to share and help them, as you said you want to do?
You are worthy of God's love. God created you. The Lord is there for you. Don't give up. You don't tomorrow will bring. You don't know what 5 minutes will bring from now, a minute from now. Just hold on to every second. Please just hold on. And if you have to, turn to the Lord. Even if you don't believe, trust me. He is there for you, and he loves you, and you're worth it.
And now, any people in your life that you want to thank, or who've just had an influence, or you admire, or that are part of your circle in some way, in a positive way?
My therapist, Susie Miller, my other therapist, Patrick Westerham, tremendously grow in my spirituality. All my friends from St. Mary's Parish, they know who they are. Too many to list, but they know me because I'm always doing something. But if it weren't for that community, I wouldn't be able to start my life over again. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful life, struggles and all.
So what do they do? How do they help? What makes you mention them?
They listen, they validate how I feel. I think in society today that people want to say, that's not how you should feel. That's not right. How about validating me? That makes the world a difference. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. I can imagine, but that means the world to me because I matter. And how I feel and what I say is important.
Since you've been honest about talking to God, similar to the way I do, I give him F. I go, God, you just had an F. Come on. And that bothers people. But what do you complain to him about? What bothers you because you don't understand it, you can't accept it, that you bring up in your prayers? And I like what you said, discussions with God.
Yeah, my discussions. The one thing I've heard from a lot of people over the years is you're smarter than that. You're gifted. You have a high IQ. Those things. You're intuitive. You're aware of everything. Why can't you fix yourself? And I turn to the Lord and I go, why can't I? What am I missing? You know, that willpower? Am I missing love for myself? And arguments. Because I go, how much longer do I have to do this? How much longer? And he's like, well, I'm not going to tell you. Basically, he's fun. I find the Lord fun, to be honest. I mean, really, it can be a very humbling relationship with the Lord. It doesn't have to be all on your knees saying, he's your friend. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to steal this from Tommy because he would use it. Because is there anything you haven't said or something you want to say as we finish this up that you just want to make sure is a part of you and your faith story that people have now become aware of?
That I'm not who I was, and I apologize to all those people in my life when I was drinking, when I was on drugs, when I said things mean, judgmental, when I manipulated, when I stole. I just want to say how sorry I am. You can forgive me and maybe one day look at me for who I am now, because I'm not the same person anymore.
All right. So my last is, I know I can imagine God right now just smiling. You make smile. All right, Tommy.
I was just going to say that that idea of forgiving yourself, excuse me, there's a song that you may or may not have heard, Homer the Same, maybe Brent. It starts out like, forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
Yes.
Have you forgiven yourself because
No.
you know that the Lord has forgiven you? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's the
Okay.
hardest. I've forgiven those people in my life,
Okay.
but me, that's a whole different battle that I struggle with a lot, because I know better and still abuse myself because of the past. So I'm trying to put that away because he forgave me. He loves me. And the more I talk about and share my struggles, actually, the more I want to forgive myself. I'm opening up more about my life, not to throw it in someone's face, not to be a Bible thumper, but to let other people know, yeah, you know what? We're out there too. You are not alone. Work together, and maybe we can find a way to forgive ourselves. So the more open I am, it's scary to share what I've been through. And I haven't shared it all, because even the Lord goes, don't you say that, because I asked him to be talking for me today. So it's very humbling, but it's a journey. It is, and I'm working toward that.
Tracey,
Definitely.
just want this one more, and thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
It's been said that isolation can lead to desolation, and there's so much shame involved in our sin, but in our addiction, everything. We know God takes the shame away. If I want to feel guilty about something, make an amends and try to get back on the straight and narrow. But is it really important to stay connected, not only as you're doing here this morning, but as you're doing with all those people who have blessed you, and you in turn have blessed them in your wonderful life?
Oh, that's what has been the most healing for me. I'm involved in church classes. I'm involved in night school. I'm involved in a women's group. I go to church every Sunday. I have friends. I text them if I can't call them. You have to be with others, because in that moment, in those moments, you feel like you're the only one, and you're not. You go out there and realize, other people are struggling too. But it also takes your mind away from it. We deserve to have fun. We deserve to be with people. That's why Adam had Eve. It's not just Adam. It was to have another person there. And I know when I isolate, it's dangerous. I always tell people, get out, go do something. As hard as it is, just at least even pick up that phone and try to call someone, because people are my salvation. Aside from the Lord, is my family here. Yeah.
You are loved by many. Homer, are we done?
Yes, we are.
There may be a part two. It may come out in the book if you're led that way, and maybe the speaking tour. The speaking tour.
Part two will be when Tracey forgives herself, because right now God's saying, "Come on, Tracey, come on, come on, don't you get?"
You got that right, Homer. Oh yeah.
Well, I know you were praying about this podcast this morning, and glory to the Lord, and I think we'll all agree that you and the Holy Spirit knocked it out of the park. Sincerely, Tracey Hassinger, thank you so much for accepting and sharing from your heart, because it will be a blessing to many on their journey to and through the cross. We're all in this thing together.
Okay, thank you, Tom and Homer.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. For Steve the Homer True, for Tracey Hassinger, for our marvelous producer, Brent Young, I'm Tommy Pippins. Thank you for joining us for this edition of My Faith with Homer and Pip. Truly, we have hope. God bless you, everybody. See you next time.